Pixel Party is one of the new game modes introduced on Hypixel and is meant to be a continuation of one of the Hive's most popular game modes, Block Party. And despite its increased map sizes and designs, it's essentially a carbon copy of the original concept. Now I want to preface this video by saying that I'm not here to talk about Pixel Party from a political standpoint. Rather, I want to discuss something that I feel will be an important concept to understand when it comes to Pixel Party's development: map creation. Maps are practically the single most important element of Pixel Party, and it will remain this way. It's what you play on, and it determines whether you survive or not to the next round. Obviously, developers want maps to look enticing, whether it be the overall design looking appealing, or even something simpler, like the number of colors a given map has. But one of the things Pixel Party should pay attention to, among the long list of things they're already hopefully working on for the next update, is the overall viability of each map in respect to your location on said map. So how about an example? Take a look at this map you see on screen. Keep in mind, these maps are 68 by 68, and you get a generous 4-second delay from when the map is generated to when the color is picked, allowing you to move around the map more easily. If you split this map in two, you'll notice it's completely symmetrical on both sides, meaning you could start on either side and still have plenty of time to reach the most ideal spots. But what happens if you cut it in two again? Surprise, surprise, the map is still completely symmetrical, making it even easier to survive from any of the 4 quadrants every map will give you. Now, I genuinely appreciate Hypixel taking it slow and making most of the designs in the current map pool completely symmetrical. It makes the game easier to get into and easier to master. But at some point, I'd like to see Pixel Party increase not only its map pool, but the different types of maps that come with it. Most specifically, I want to see more asymmetrical maps introduced. Asymmetrical maps force you to experiment with every individual quadrant, evaluating different spots, the amount of colors in that area, how far apart the colors are away from each other, where the best spots are based on how much time you have to reach them, etc., instead of having to do the exact same thing only with a quarter of the effort. Asymmetrical maps will hands down raise the skill ceiling of Pixel Party and force people to get good at those maps if they want to survive longer. And I'm not saying there should be a large percentage of asymmetrical maps in the pool. I think a healthy number is around 33 to 40%. Where did I get that number? Allow me to explain. What you're seeing on screen is a screenshot of every map from the Hive. There are a total of 67, not including the preset map on round 1. Of those 67 maps, 24 are symmetrical, 20 are half symmetrical, and 23 are asymmetrical, meaning roughly 34.33% of all Hive maps are asymmetrical. If this number could either stay as is on Pixel Party, or perhaps even go higher, I believe that would be ideal, because currently, with a grand total of 24 Pixel Party maps, the percentage of asymmetrical maps looks like this. What's more, on those asymmetrical maps, 2 out of 3 of them you can survive from literally anywhere, and the other one I'm neutral towards. They definitely improved it from what it was before, which is a step in the right direction. Which leads me to another concept I want to discuss: the difficulty of map comprehension. For starters, you have an increased amount of Speed 12 viable maps by 12%. This number, I would say, is just about right, or maybe could go a tad higher. Having too many viable Speed 12 maps could make the game a bit easier to play on the slower rounds. Even then, you could just make maps asymmetrical and make it a bit easier to do a Speed 12 map on certain areas over others, or just design a difficult Speed 12 viable map where you can make the jump from anywhere, but it's a hard jump to make. After that, you have 17 Speed 11 maps, increasing the amount of Speed 11 viable maps by about 3%. It would be nice to maybe have this category stay around what it is now, and the same things I've recommended for the Speed 12 maps can apply here as well. However, now it's time for things to get a bit more serious as I bring out the first thing I'd like to see changed with Pixel Party's map pool. On Block Party, 91% of all maps were viable with 1.5 seconds of reaction time. On Pixel Party, that number shrinks by 8%, plummeting all the way down to 83.33%. This number is unacceptably low, and it's the reason why games are ending as quick as they are. There are just too many unviable maps past Speed 9 that result in games ending before the climax. Obviously, this needs to change, and I for one would love to see the development team take things like this into consideration when designing maps for their game. However, the critiques don't stop there, as we have 16.67% of maps being viable at or below Speed 9. And do you want to guess which maps those are? Right, it's the maps nobody who tryhards this game likes to play on. Now, don't get me wrong, having Speed 9 viable maps isn't bad. Having too many of them is. On top of that, we have 2 additional maps that aren't even viable at speed 9, making them more infuriating to play. You can keep the speed 9 maps you have right now, but making it so that an unhealthy percentage of the total maps aren't viable past speed 9 will just result in games ending faster and before the best parts. The competitive community would appreciate it, and so would I. Also, just get rid of these 2, please. Alright, thanks. Well, that just about ends all my thoughts on Pixel Party's current state, at least when dealing with maps anyways. If you somehow made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching! Hopefully as time goes on, Hypixel can get around to fixing what I believe is currently wrong with the map pool and continue to actively develop this game. I really enjoy this game mode, and hopefully this video shows it. After all, it's not necessarily about introducing a new concept when it comes to Pixel Party, just improving on it and making it the best possible version of itself that it can be. I think my opinions can do exactly that. You don't have to agree with me, and that's totally fine. After all, it's Hypixel's game, nothing we can do about it, or maybe we can. I don't know, who can really say? As for me, I'm tired. I've spent like 2 weeks working on this. I want to go to bed now. Later, peoples.